Straight ahead on the Valley today. It took most of a hot summer day, but Cass County deputies say they finally got their guys. 2 people are waking up in jail accused of burglary.
Plus, plan on some congestion along a busy West Fargo road today. We'll tell you where to watch out for delays. But first, new for you this morning, another tragedy for a family of track stars, and it's hitting the running community hard. Abigail Anderson, the sister of All-American runner Gabe Grunwald, who died 2 years ago, was herself killed after being hit by a vehicle on Saturday.
Both Abigail and Gabe were runners at Perham High School and went on to compete for the University of Minnesota. The U is on Twitter paying tribute to the former Gopher runner. Police say Abigail was on the grass near a road when a pickup hit a parked vehicle. They're still trying to determine which vehicle then hit her.
Her sister lost a long battle with cancer in June of 2019. So far, there's no word on any arrest in the crash that killed Abby. The East Grand Forks School District is helping to decide this morning whether or not students will wear a mask in the classroom this fall.
The special meeting is at 7:30 this morning. You can watch it on the school's Facebook page. And of course, stay with us here on Valley News Live and the Valley Today as we follow this story for you. An hours-long search for 2 burglary suspects in Cass County is over. And Cass County Sheriff Jesse Johnner says that's thanks in great part to 2 separate tips from the public. The man and woman were found walking separately last night near the North Cass County cornfield, which was the central focus of the search for much of the day. Because of yesterday's heat, both suspects were checked out by paramedics before being hauled off to jail.
Those suspects are 27-year-old Josh Mommsen of Halstead, current Minnesota. He's in custody for numerous charges, including burglary, criminal mischief, reckless endangerment, and giving false information to police. 51-year-old Joe Ellen Hansen of Twin Valley, Minnesota, was arrested for burglary. The sheriff's office says the pair initially ran into the cornfield after they were approached by people living in that area yesterday morning. We have a traffic alert for you on this morning, a busy West Fargo road. Now this right here, this is a live look at Veterans Boulevard near I-94. You see the backhoe there, cones already up. We know what that means, it's construction. Today the city is shutting down the right northbound lane of Veterans Boulevard on that I-94 overpass for some sidewalk repairs.
If that is part of your daily commute, be ready for congestion and of course traffic delays, especially this morning and this afternoon. The project is expected to wrap up at the end of the day, depending on the weather.
And luckily for those crews, I think the weather should be in their favor. Granted, they'll need extra water bottles because it's a hot one out there, Lisa.
Yeah, toasty one, and it starts already this morning. We've got several hazards to watch for as we continue on through this week. We've got steamy weather and then stormy weather as we head toward the end of the week. So a couple of these headlines here. We've got that pattern of hot and windy weather holding today for some time with some periods of smoke in there. It's not until Friday that we see that chance for some rain moving in. So it's holding off a little bit longer here for this week. That doesn't mean that we're not getting it, that it's leaving the forecast. It's still there. We also want to talk about that smoke. First of all, this morning, the main concern for the surface smoke will be in eastern North Dakota, but especially into that northwestern part of our viewing area up by Devil's Lake, back over to Grand Forks, where we may see some of that thicker, more high concentrated smoke affecting us down in that area here this morning. Elsewhere, we will have that haze hanging around overhead from the wildfire smoke that's passing by well north of us, or well above us rather. But to the surface, there will still be a little bit of that smoke affecting us. Some of us reporting air quality in that moderate or yellow range here this morning. But watch as I moved ahead into tomorrow morning. We're looking at some clearing conditions, still a little bit of smoke hanging around, but much better for your Wednesday. So if you're concerned about that, tomorrow may be a better day for you to be outdoors than today, especially in places in the north and east. Check this out. This is our home of economy Skycam in Grand Forks. Here's the sun getting blotted out yet again by some of that smoky haze here this morning as it's rising above the horizon there. We do have visibility down in Langdon, but I just checked. It looks like we've got some fog going on there, a little mist, and maybe even a little bit of drizzle happening. We'll show you that in a second. Warm across the region. We're at 72 in Fargo and in Grand Forks. It feels muggy as well. And here's a look at some of your spotty, very light showers. Northern Valley, you can see right over Langdon, we've got a little shower there. And then back over toward Hallock and Cavalier. Most of us on the dry side though here for today. So here's a look at our hourly planner. Temperatures are going to make their way up pretty quickly by the time we get into the afternoon. right back into those 90s. Now I know that I want to show this again just so we know what's coming our way, and maybe it will make you feel a little bit better as you're out in the heat the next couple of days. Starting our clock here closer to 6 a.m. on Friday morning. We're not seeing any rain until that point, but our rainfall potential really starts to take over. You see a very colorful map heading into Saturday morning. So this is just over 24 hours, that potential for a decent rain. So not out of the forecast, just delayed a little bit here. So something to be looking forward to even in this heat.
Sounds great. Thank you, Lisa. Testimony in the Chad Isaak quadruple murder trial in Mandan, North Dakota is now focusing on DNA evidence. Prosecutors spent yesterday asking how evidence collected from the crime scene and from Chad Isaak's property was tested.
Witnesses say some parts of Isaac's truck tested positive for human blood, but his clothing, a knife, and parts of a gun found in his home did not. The defense will question DNA findings when the case continues this morning. President Joe Biden is defending his decision to pull U.S. troops out of Afghanistan as security dissolved into chaos at the airport in Kabul. At least 2 people died after hundreds of Afghans rushed the tarmac and climbed onto a U.S. military plane as it was taking off.
U.S. troops also shot 2 others who were armed, but the Pentagon says it was in self-defense. More American service members are arriving at the airport to help evacuate remaining U.S. citizens and Afghan allies. 2 girls in West Fargo are taking the phrase, "when life gives you lemons," to the bank. This morning, Harper and Brinley Binstock will host a lemonade stand fundraiser for North Dakota Army National Guardsman Sam Hardesty. He was working in Grand Forks digging a trench when a piece of equipment malfunctioned, severing his right leg and severely injuring his left leg. The lemonade stand will be set up from 11 this morning to 2 this afternoon at Lovely Lash Company on Veterans Boulevard and 32nd Avenue. There's also a spaghetti feed that's scheduled for October 23rd at the West Fargo VFW. Just go to valleynewslive.com to find out more ways to help donate.
It was a ride to remember for fallen Grand Forks police officer Cody Holte. Video from the sheriff's office shows motorcycles leading a 41-foot-long trailer showing the faces of 338 officers who died in the line of duty last year. The stop in Grand Forks was the 81st one for the nonprofit organization Beyond the Call of Duty. They're traveling across the nation this summer, and they're raising awareness of first responders lost in the line of duty. Now, they say that Holte died in an exchange of gunfire in a Grand Forks apartment in May of 2020. His widow and son were part of the group that was paying their tribute to the hero. Grand Forks police are asking for help figuring out how a toddler fell from a 3rd-story apartment window over the weekend. That child is now in critical condition.
It happened around 8:30 Saturday night in the 200 block of First Avenue North. Police tell us the case is not considered criminal at this point. Authorities in Becker County want your help finding a missing man. David Jones was last seen on Tuesday.
The sheriff's office says he was last seen driving a black 2006 GMC Sierra Denali pickup. Picture on your screen. It has license plates 755 PGK. A Fargo man will spend the next 9 years behind bars after killing an 18-year-old in Moorhead.
26-year-old Larry Evans was sentenced for the death of Cameron Camacho. Evans punched the teen several times in the head during an argument over marijuana prices in August of 2020. He was originally charged with murder, but the charge was downgraded to manslaughter as part of a plea deal. Here's a heads up about a large police presence that you'll be seeing this week. Cass County deputies and rural fire and EMS will be conducting an active shooter training at Central Cass School tomorrow.
It's planned from 6 to 10. The training will involve a large law enforcement presence there. In our consumer alert this morning, 1 in 3 parents of school-aged children expect to go into debt when they're doing back-to-school shopping. A new survey from LendingTree suggests nearly 1/3 of parents say they're unable to afford their child's school supplies this year.
Parents are struggling to afford school supplies as expenses increase, and hybrid learning costs parents more than either in-person only learning or virtual only learning.
Let's get the answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. That question we have today, 25% of people admit to canceling a date over this.
Ooh, something popped up. A pimple.
I see what you did there. Something popped up.
Remember, you can play along every weekday morning by heading to our Valley News Live Facebook page.
The Today Show on CBS This Morning are just about to start, but the Valley today, it rolls on. More live up-to-the-minute news and weather coming up right now on the Fargo CW.